your heel flaps are all done, and it is time to work the heel. Now, before we pick up stitches along the edge, I forgot that we actually have to turn the heel, doing some short rows, shaping, and so we're going to go over that right now. So you can see here I have my super cute, adorable little flaps. Oh my gosh. So I'm just going to focus on this heel flap here. Oh, there's some Stanley hair right there. Let's get that out of there. We're going to focus on this heel flap first. We're going to do the turn on this one, then I'll do the turn on this one, and then we can pick up stitches for the whole thing. All right, so one thing that I forgot to mention in the previous video is this little piece of instruction right here. It says, remember we added a stitch for the center right here? Well, what you're going to do is on your very last row on the wrong side, you'll purl 15, purl 2 together, and then purl 14. So it's not noted in the chart, which is why I completely forgot about it. So I had to back out of both of my last purl rows on my heel flap, turn around and redo them and purl 2 in there so that I could get it back down to an even number. It's not a huge deal if you forget to do this because we're not going to be doing any more ribbing, but your stitch count might be off in the pattern. So that was worth doing for me. So I went ahead and backed out and did that. So now we've got 30 stitches and now we're ready. So you should have ended your heel flap on a purl row. By the way, if you didn't, just do one more purl row. Even if you have 5 rows, sometimes it's easier to, you know, if you got off on the chart or whatever. I'm all about cheating to win, so I think that's fine. So you can see here that when I'm looking at my heels, my live yarn is on the right side of the front. So I'm ready to go this way. Okay, so that's where you should be starting. So if you need to do one more purl row, go right ahead so that your yarn is right here hanging off the right side when you're looking at the front and your heart's upside down, just like this. Okay. All right, so the heel turn, if I look at the instructions, it says continuing with the main color. Now you can switch to smaller needles here if you want to make the foot tighter. I'm just going to go ahead and continue with mine. Continuing with the main color, slip 1, knit 16, slip, slip, knit, knit 1, turn. Okay, so for the sake of you not watching me boringly knit, I have already slipped 1 and I've knit 16. So you can see that this is slightly off center. So I have knit a couple stitches just past the middle of the heart. Okay, all right, so now I'm going to perform a slip, slip, knit, and then a knit 1. Okay, all right, so we're going to slip this one as if to knit it, slip this one as if to knit it, and I am going to sneak my right needle into the fronts of these loops, just like that, those 2 together, and then I'm going to knit the 2 together like this, and then I'm going to knit 1, just like that. Now I'm going to turn it over. So, being very careful, we're going to turn the whole thing over. And now it says to slip 1. So we're going to slip this one that we just did. I'm going to tug it tight. Now I'm going to purl 4. Purl 1. Purl 2. Purl 3. Purl 4. Now I'm going to purl 2 together. So I'm going to slip under this one and also slip under this one, like I'm purling them both at the same time as if they were 1, purl 2 together. I'm going to purl another one, and now I'm going to turn it back over again very carefully. Okay, now I am going to slip the first one, blurp, just like that. Now I'm going to knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now here's something interesting. I have actually just knitted to 1 stitch before the gap. See this gap here? Because I turned around and went the other way earlier, it has made this gap right here. So basically, I've just knitted to 1 stitch before the gap, okay? Great. So now what I'm going to do is slip, slip, knit. So the whole point here is to slip this one, slip this one, knit them together, and close that gap so there's not a hole in our sock. Okay, so I'm going to slip this one, get this needle in the front loops of those two, and I'm going to knit these together just like that. Now my gap is closed. Now I need to knit one more, and then of course I'm going to very carefully turn the whole thing over again. All right, so we always slip the first stitch, so I'm going to slip this one, pull it a little tight, and then I'm going to purl 6 stitches, which will place me 1 stitch before the gap. So basically, I'm going to stop counting, and I am just going to read my knitting. Okay, see the gap? Gap is right here, so I'm going to go 1 stitch before the gap, and then I'm supposed to purl 2 together. Well, I want to close this gap, so I'm going to slip under this one and slip under this one, and I'm going to purl these 2 together, and then I'm going to purl 1, and then I'm going to turn it over. Okay. All right. Now, starting on this side, slip this one. I'm going to knit until 1 stitch before the gap. All right, there's my 1 stitch, there's the gap, and I'm going to slip, slip, knit these together. Slip and knit. Then I'm going to knit an extra one, and I'm going to turn around. So you can see it's kind of making this little pouchy thing. See this? That's where our heel's going to go. It's so cute. Okay, so we are going to keep going in this manner. I'm going to turn around, and the gap is going to slowly move outside this way. Then once you have no more gaps, you're all done with the heel. So I'm going to get close. I'm going to rush through this, and then let's take a look at what it looks like. All right, so turn it over, and here we go. Okay, I'm continuing on this side. You can see that I have my gap is at the end over here, and I have a gap at the end over here. So we're just finishing up the heel turn. I'm going to go to 1 stitch before the gap, and now I'm going to knit, slip, and then I'm going to knit these 2 together. All right, so that's the last gap on the front side. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to slip the first one, and I'm going to knit all the way to the gap, which is right at the end of this portion. All right, now we've raced to the end there. Now we're going to purl these last 2 together, just like that, okay? Check it out. Now there's a cute little pocket for your heel to go. See that? A cute little triangle on the bottom. That heart's going to be right on the back of the heel. It's going to be so super adorable. Okay, I am going to do my other heel turn, and then I'll rush through that, and I'll meet you right back here so we can pick up stitches to rejoin in the round.